Hello everyone, welcome to day 5. I'm going to continue with the recursion questions. The next question is reverse a given array. You are given an array, the task is to reverse the array and print it. Okay. So the brute force approach of doing this would be to take one more array and then reverse the initial array in descending order, that is from the end to start, and store it in the new array, which will take time complexity of order of n and space complexity also order of n. So first of all we'll take the input, which is the array, enter the size of array, and we'll take n, and then enter the elements of array, and we'll have a for loop to read it. And we will take a int array equals to new array of size n, I equals to scanner dot next int. Now after reading the elements of the array, we will take one more array called reverse, and it will be of same size of initial array, and then we will take int I equals to n minus 1, I is greater than 0, I minus minus, and then reverse array I equals to one second. So we are iterating from the end of the array. So here we will have we need 0 at the first iteration, so we will have n minus 1 I minus n, I think. One second. So let's say size of array is 5, so n will be 5. So in first iteration we will be at the last element of array, which is at index 4, so I is 4. Then we need n minus I minus 1. This will give us the correct result, because now we will have n as 5, I as 4. So 5 minus 4 is 1, minus 1 is 0. So at 0th index we will have the last element of array. Then when I is 3, we will have 5 minus 3 minus 1. So reverse of 1 equals to array of 3. This should work. Now I will print the reverse array. Let's see. Reverse array is 3, 5, 3, 1 and 0. One second, where is 0 coming from? greater than equals to 0. One, two, three, 4, 5. And reversed is this. So this is the brute force approach. Now coming to the optimal solution. In this particular brute force approach, we are using an extra space of order of n. We can do this without using an extra space, and for that, let's say if our array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then what we can do is we can swap the last and first element and then move one step ahead from start and end. So basically the two pointer method, we will have two pointers, one at the start and one at the end, and then at each iteration we will swap the numbers and then move the start pointer ahead and also the back pointer ahead. So with that, what will happen, initially we will be at 1 and 5, those will get swapped, so we will have 5, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Then in next iteration we are now at 2 and 4, so these two will be swapped and we will have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And finally at this step we will have both the pointers at 3, and then we will end the the operation, and this will be the reversed array. So this can be done without using recursion also with two pointer approach, but as we are doing questions for recursion, I'll try to do this using recursion. So what we will do is we'll write a function reverse int array. Okay, int array, and in reverse we will take one more element. We'll take two pointers, start and end, and at each iteration we will check if start is greater than equals to end, then we will return simply, otherwise we will swap the numbers. So int temp equals to array of start, and int array of start equals to array of end, and array of end equals to temp. Array of end equals to temp. So now we have swapped the numbers, and then again we will call reverse method and we'll pass array start plus 1 and end minus 1. So this will reverse the array, and then here we can print first of all we'll make a method, we'll reverse it and we'll print the reversed array. Arrays.toString is also a good way to print the array instead of using for loop. Okay, so let's see. Size of array is 5. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and reversed array is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll also try to see if the number of elements are even, then what will happen. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, and reversed array is correct. So this is other way of doing this, and in this the time complexity would be, so what we are doing is at each iteration we are moving towards the center of the array, and the time complexity will be n by 2, where n is the size of array. So overall time complexity will be order of n, similar to the brute force approach. But the positive thing about this approach is space complexity. So we are not using any extra space to store the array. Okay. So let's see what they are doing. Brute force approach is using extra space, and then better approach is two pointer approach. Initialize, swap the elements, increment. Complexity is order of n. In the example, they are not using recursion. They are directly using while loop. That is also correct, but as it was part of recursion, okay, that's fine. And then they have given one more approach, is using the built-in reverse collections.reverse method. Okay. What is the time complexity of this? Again, order of n, because each element is visited once and possibly swapped once with its mirror index. Okay. Let's go to next question. So next is check if string is palindrome or not. They have lead code access here, so I will try to do this on lead code directly because we have more number of test cases in this. Also somebody suggested to do it submit the solutions on my YouTube channel, to submit the solutions to see everything is working fine or not, but I'm not sure if they have option to submit the solutions here. For some of them they have given the lead code link, but here it's not there. And solve, I think, is coming with subscription. This what is this? Let me check. So this is, I think, subscription based. So we will do as much as we can on lead code, otherwise I'll do it on my IDE. So coming to palindrome question, phrase is a palindrome if after converting all uppercase letters into lowercase letters and removing all non-alphanumeric, it reads the same before forward and backward. Okay, so if S is this, then it is true. If we convert this, all of this into lowercase characters and remove all the other type of characters like this spaces and all, comma, then it is a palindrome. I think this is also similar to how we did earlier in by reversing a string. We will reverse the string. First of all, we'll remove all the alphanumeric characters, and then reverse the string and compare both the strings. So first of all, I will remove all the alphanumeric characters from this. For that, what we can do is we can check if we will keep the character only if they are between A and Z, right? So I will take one more string s1 and empty string s1, and for int I, or we can, instead of doing this, we can do character, but we need I, do we? No. Character C in S, we need to check if this C is a letter or a alphanumeric character. So what we can do is, if C is greater than equals to, can we do it with strings greater than equal to A? I don't know if we can do it, or we need to convert it into an int and then we can do it. And C is less than equals to Z, or it could be, wait, first of all let's convert it into lowercase, or we can do this, or this should be true, or these should be in lowercase. Same thing, C is greater than equals to small a, and then C is less than equals to small z. Return true. Let's see if this is the correct way of doing this. I'll simply just try to run the code, see if there is any compilation errors. Wait, I need to do it in Java, not C++. We can't write it like this. Okay, then I know we can write for loop and do this, but can we use for each for string in Java? Okay, we need to first convert it into character array. That is also a good way of doing this, but let's do it simply. Int I equals to 0, I is less than s dot size I plus plus, and character c equals to s dot character at I. This should work. Is it not length? Sometimes it uses length. I think for arrays we use size, and for string we use length. Okay, so basically this statement is correct. We can compare characters. So we can move forward. We have got the character, and now if any of these is matching, that means we have a alphabet. So what we can do is we will take it s1 equals to, and we can uh, store it in reverse order, so that we will have, or let's take one more string s2 equals to this. Now s1 will store it in same order and s2 will store it in reverse order. So s2 equals to this character plus s2, and s1 equals to s1 plus this character. And return s1 equals to s2. But we also need to this could be uppercase or lowercase, so we also need to change it to lowercase. Character dot to lowercase. I think this is the method. We'll check if it works or not, and second one also will do the same. Let's try to run it. Okay, currently it's not working. I'll try to print s1 and s2 to see what is happening. These two are same only, right? Yeah, so why we are getting false? Oh, okay, this is, I got it. So objects are not same, right? It is comparing by the object. We need to do s1 dot equals s2, or instead of doing like converting into lowercase, we could have done s1 dot equal ignore case and compare it to s2. Let's try to run this now. This will work. I'll submit it. Okay, s1 is 0p. So what is happening in this case? I will try to run this case 0p. So output expected is false. Why are we taking 0 also? A phrase is palindrome if after converting all the uppercase letter into lowercase and removing all non-alphanumeric characters. Alpha include letters and numbers. Okay, letters and numbers are also required. My bad. Okay, so along with these, we also need to check if these are numbers. So we can simply check it like this in next. Else, if these are numbers, if c is greater than equals to 0 and c is less than equals to 9, then we can just add it. S1 equals to S1 plus C, and S2 equals to C plus S2. Now I think this should work. Accepted. One of the test case, somebody also did not read the question carefully. First of all, you need to take alphanumeric, both 0 and P. What else? I'm interested to know what else people are doing here. If you got the problem like this, it is because you are using what 32 thing. Okay, because not only this but P minus 0 is also 32. 0P is very good example. Let's see the solution in Java. What they have done is okay, so instead of, they are using the two pointer method, and instead of storing it into separate strings, which will save the space complexity, they are iterating over the string from start to end. They have two pointers and then they are comparing. That is a really good solution. Let me try to do this using let me try to do this using recursion, the same thing, because I did it for the other question. So if public boolean recursion, and we will pass the string and two pointers, int start and int end, and if int start is greater than equals to n, then we'll return true. If s dot character at start, now as they have other type of characters also, so that also will have to skip. Alright, so let's do one thing. We'll take two characters, character c1, c character, let's name it c1 equals to s dot character at c1, and character not c1 start, and character c2 equals to s dot character at end. So now we have taken both the characters which needs to be compared, but we need to compare them only if they are alphanumeric, otherwise we'll skip them. So for that we will check if they are alphanumeric. We can do the same thing. If c1 they are doing this, they have, okay, there is a inbuilt method in character, is character letter or digit. This is really cool. Let's try to use this. This is very cool. Instead of doing all this, we can directly check if this character is a letter or array. Nice. So if the character is a letter or array. If it is not a letter or array, then what we will do, we will recursively call this on s and s add c1. So if c1 is not a character or array, we will just skip it. For skipping it, we can s start plus 1 and end. Similarly, if c2 is not, then we'll do the same thing. If c2 is not a character or array, then we will do start and end minus 1. Okay, and then what we can do is, otherwise they both are letter or digit. So in that case, we just need to compare. So what we can do is check if character dot to lowercase is not equals to character. If c1 is not equals to c2, then we don't need to run the recursion further. We can simply return false. So character dot to lowercase c2. If they are not equal, then we can return false. No need to further call the recursive function. Otherwise we'll call the recursive function on s with start plus 1 and end minus 1. And here we'll call this method is equals to new solution and we can return solution dot recursive method s0. Start will be 0, first pointer, and last pointer will be at the end of the string. So s dot length minus 1. Let's try to run this. I'll submit this. Okay, so for this it is not working, is it? But how come it's working here? I'll put this here. Wrong. Got it. Because after this I wasn't returning, so after this method call it was further calling these, that was creating the problem. Now it worked. This was a good approach. Let's see some other solutions. Transforming the input string. This is also really cool. Replace all of them with empty space. They are using this regex and replacing every non-alphanumeric to empty space and then simply comparing. Very cool. Okay, that's it. Mark this as closed. Next is Fibonacci series. Okay, I'll do it on lead code. The Fibonacci numbers commonly denoted as this from a sequence called Fibonacci. Fibonacci is basically f0 is 0, f1 is 1, and fn is fn minus 1 plus fn minus 2, and so on. So this is a classic problem for recursion. So I'll write this in recursion directly. So if n equals to 0, then return 0. If n equals to 1, return 1. Or I can write it in one line. So if fn equals to 0, do we have negative numbers in this? No, right? 0 to 30 it could be okay. Or n equals to 1, then return n. Else what we need to do is return Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2. Let me try it for 30 before submitting, because the limit is 30. Okay, it works. I'll submit it. Done. What would be the time complexity of this? Okay, they have given multiple approaches. So the brute force approaches, as we know this, simply iterate and go and calculate the ith term in series. Better approaches take two variables, storing ith and n minus 2. Now iterate from 2 to n, calculate the ith and its terminal. Okay, and optimal approach is this. So if 4 we need to calculate Fibonacci of 4, we calculate 3 and 2, then 2 and 1, 3, 2, 1, like this, and complexity will be n square. Correct. Okay. Now coming to hashing problems, basic hashing. Let's try to understand the importance of hashing using an example. Given an array of integers and we are given some queries 1, 3, 4 to 10. For each query we need to find out how many times the number appears in the array. For example, if query is 1, our answer would be 2. If query is 4, the answer will be 0. Similarly, the following will be the answer for given queries. Brute force approach. As we have learned for loop, the first approach should be coming to your mind used to solve this. For each query, we will iterate over the array using a loop. We will count the number of times the query number appears in that array. That is, increment the counter variable if array element is in it. Okay. Optimize approach would be hashing. For each number, we'll hash it. Yeah, fetching. Point to remember, we may encounter a problem where the maximum array element may be very large, like 10 to the power n. In this case, theoretically we should declare array of size this, but we cannot do so. The maximum size of array can be this. Okay, integer में और ये boolean में. Character hashing. Given this string, we are given some queries. Okay, this is also fine. Mapping characters to integer. SKY character लोअर केस 97 से स्टार्ट होता है. ओके. So we can hash it like this. Hash of that character at this minus a. This will give 0 because the value of this if the value of this is a, then it will be 97, and 97 minus the value of this is 97 is 0. So hash at 0th index for character a will be incremented, and so on. Okay. And then we are using map here. So hash map key and value. Okay, we'll quickly go to the questions. Counting frequency of each element in an array. This is an array. Need to count the frequency of each element. So this question they already did it in the example. We can either use the hash map with the input. So we can use hash map to brute force would be the for loop thing. So for each iteration we'll just keep checking. Optimal solution will be to use a map. Let's see the code because it's quite simple. We'll use a hash map and then put these elements. We'll check the map if it is present or not, and then increment that value. Get or default. We'll get it. If it is not there, then default is 0 plus 1, and then we'll traverse it and print the values, get key and get value. Cool.